the business pipeline. And in the business pipeline, we talked about how you can use it to see the different statuses that you've got. And in order to set this up, not all of the statuses everybody uses. Some of them, you may not want to use. You can actually go into the settings area and remove any statuses that you just don't want to mess with. You don't want them on your drop down. But some people only want to see certain statuses in the pipeline itself, even though they may use some of the others. You can click on the little gear up in the upper right corner and choose which columns you want and in which order do you want them displayed in. So typically you're going to have a pipeline, a business pipeline, is they kind of go from one column to the next in some form or fashion. Maybe you've got a coming soon column that you use occasionally, but not very many things. Once it's got property in there, then it moves into a pre-listing or an active listing. Then it goes to pending and goes on down the road. The whole purpose of your business pipeline is just to see the pipeline and have it move from left to right. Okay, so having that in there is important in order to get the columns in the order that you want them in. Okay, one of the things that we did, we made some changes to the cards, made them look a little bit prettier, I'm going to say, so that they're easier to read. Let me say it that way. Where they include the listing price, the listing date, expiration date, kind of spread out instead of all clumped together. A little bit easier to look at. But down here at the bottom, we've included some totals. So you can see in your statuses, basically where you're at on each of your different statuses. So in my pre-listing, volume on these is 496 based off of there being 2 properties in there. If I move one from one column to another, then it retotals up down at the bottom. So just a change in how this looks a little bit as far as the cards, adding the totals piece and being able to see those. So I'm hoping that will help you guys kind of look at where your business is at. If you've got other ideas and stuff. The one thing I don't have on here yet is actually a final total type thing. And I want to have more of a, and I'm going to show you another place where I do have it, a place where you can kind of see some totals and the summations of totals. In this case, if you wanted to find out what your pending, your under contract, your contingent items were, being able to group them together and get a final total on those is what I want to kind of work on. So being able to group certain columns together and still get some subtotals on those. But the listings has this information. In the transactions, we basically have the same thing, except we're using the sale price and the closing date. If it has a contract date on there, it'll show contract date as well. And then the MLS number or the transaction number, depending on which one or ones you're using on those. So those are there. For those that have the projects, projects are like your different projects that you're working on in a house, redoing the kitchen, redoing countertops or bathroom or whatever. We do have it totaled out so that you can see the contract price on that, and then the final price. We did do a final % of contract price on there, so you can see if you're under budget or over budget, and then when was the project started. And then down at the bottom, we've got the same type of thing as far as the summations of the contract price versus the summations of the final price. I see Honor there. Honor, would this help you guys?
I think that hits the main things that we would need in something like this.
Yeah. So whenever, one of the notes on that is whenever you've got these listed here, if you click on the card itself, it highlights it. And if you double click on it, it takes you to that property. And
Okay.
inside the property, it takes you to that project, in which case you can see the permit number. But if you think that permit number would be good to have on there, we can certainly get that on there as well.
Yeah, no, I think this looks good.
Okay.
It's easy to follow, and yeah, if you can click on it and get to all that, that's perfect.